This is Abnormal Entertainment.
On the tube. No one cares, they have to say, but that doesn't stop them anyway. They scream, please, please, please. No more cinema head cheese. Yeah.
Welcome everybody to the Cinema Head Cheese Podshort. This is Kevin Moyers, and this episode, I would like to recommend a few Netflix comedy specials that have come up. I like to do this from time to time, give recommendations. I don't ever come on here and talk about specials I didn't like or I thought were lacking. That's not really fair to the comic because these people have fan bases and your comedic sensibility might not be the same as mine. And, you know, and some of them are sometimes as comics that I like. And I watch it and I'm like, I don't know. So, so I'm going to give you three that I watched recently that I really enjoyed. The first one I'm going to start with, and I will start, this first one co-starred somebody I did not previously like. So, this one is called Oh Hello on Broadway. Now, I said it that way because Nick Kroll and John Mulaney they star as two old guys. It's not exactly a stand-up comedy special, but it's a comedy special nonetheless, right? They are two old guys that live in New York. They kind of have like that Alan Alda persona to them, he's their favorite guy. John Mulaney is a playwright, and I want to get their character names right because this whole thing just cracked me up so much. And just so you know, the guy I didn't like was John Mulaney before, I never hated him or anything, but I just didn't get it. I didn't get the love for him. Maybe it was his persona, whatever, but I was never really a fan of his stand-up. He had one bit that I did like about playing a song over and over in a diner in Chicago, and that was pretty funny. But in this, I thought he was fantastic. Like, I never saw a sitcom either because, again, I didn't like the guy, so I didn't watch it, and apparently nobody did because it's gone quickly. But with these characters, he's George St. Geoghegan, and he's a playwright, kind of not a successful one. Nick Kroll is Gil Faison, who was a voiceover guy who once auditioned for CBS, came in second place, you know. And he's the more disjointed of the two. George is a little bit more put together. He's in a suit. But, and he's sort of, you could tell he's, you know, kind of the leader of the two of them in a way. It's kind of interesting. But they do this whole stage play about going through the 70s and the 80s, different decades and things like that. But the stage play is happening. Like, they're doing the stage play, but it's more about the two of them and their relationship and their personalities. And, like, the play they're trying to do constantly gets interrupted, which is hilarious. At one point, they have an argument where Gil wants to walk off, you know, things like that. They do a segment based on an old public access TV show they used to do called Too Much Tuna, but the way they pronounce it is Too Much Tuner. Their whole premise is to interview a celebrity and try to get them to say, that's too much tuna. And they actually have Steve Martin in the in the show. And they recreate the show with Steve Martin to get him to say, it's too much tuna. I I didn't think I would like this. I like Nick Kroll. I've always liked Nick Kroll. I even liked him on Cavemen. The one made from the Geico Cavemen. I'm not even kidding. But I thought he was the best character in that show. And, of course, The League is one of my favorites. Things like that. But there was just, honestly, I find myself, every time I think about this, I keep saying the word audience. They don't say audience, they say audience. But, George, what about the audience? It's just like I have to mimic the voices. Gil, sit down. Don't talk about the audience this way. Like, the fucking two of them are so goddamn funny together. Just the back and forth, the dialogue. I can't even do it justice, but it's the relationship, the stage show, talking about their history, everything. It's insane. And there's one other cameo in there, but the whole thing is on Broadway. They had a run, and then they filmed it on Broadway, so you're watching this as though you're an audience member, and it's so funny and so good. And Frankie G, who you've heard on this show from Masterpiece and Kayfabe, his own show, he and I were going for weeks. That's too much tuna. Like, I took a picture of the tuna section at the grocery store. I can't stop laughing right now. I need to rewatch this shit. It's honestly, you just watch it. It's such a weird, like, this is akin to the 2,000-Year-Old Man. The 2,000-Year-Old Man is a very famous comedy album, which I listened to for the first time. It's on Tidal. Tidal has it. And I think Spotify does too. Carl Reiner and Mel Brooks used to just have these stupid conversations at parties where Reiner would sit and interview Mel Brooks as though he was the 2,000-Year-Old Man. And they would sit there and just, it's quiet, and then they'd go right into this fucking bit. And that's what these two would do. Mulaney and Kroll. They would just start doing this, and they're like, let's turn this into something. It's this generation's 2,000-Year-Old Man. It's exactly that. And it's so absurd and funny. And I mean, Kroll, the entire fucking show, has just the corner of his shirt hanging out of his zipper. It's like an hour in, and Nick Kroll finally acknowledges it just in the tiniest way. And Mulaney acknowledges it, and Kroll just, he breaks. Like, they're having fun, and they're fucking with each other. And the Steve Martin stuff is so great. I just watch it. So worth your time. And like I said, I think I need to just watch it again, because every time I think about it, I start laughing. I wish this is a thing I wish I had seen on stage. Not kidding. Like, live in person, it has to be even better. So there's that. The next two I'm going to talk about are specials that guys I've never heard of before, which I always like. Netflix is doing what Comedy Central used to do. They used to do specials, and that's where I'd see new comedians all the time. They do the half hours, and it was great. You could see all this stuff. So two people that I saw that really impressed me were first one is Joe Mande, and it's Joe Mande's award-winning comedy special. And he's a little guy, and he talks about things with his relationship, his wife. He does a whole sketch in the beginning, and he has Bo Burnham and oh my God, why am I blanking? Jerry Seinfeld's best friend, old dude. He's in Vegas forever. Holy shit! Whatever, you'll see it. I'm completely blanking. But anyway, he's trying to win the comedy award, and that's the wraparound sketch around the show. A couple times they cut away, and you see like the judges in the back of the audience. That drove me nuts with Chelsea Peretti's special when she had it. One of the greats where they would cut the things, like there was one where Moshe Kasher stands up and says, "You're my favorite female comedian," and it's not acknowledged by her on stage at all. It's just a cutaway, and it disrupts the flow a little bit. So Mande did that once or twice. It's not that disruptive, but it's noticeable. and it bugs me when like, just do your comedy and have a good show. So, but he's funny, and he's tells some good stories and stuff like that, things about his wife, that kind of thing. Enjoyable and new to me. I'm sure he's been around a while, but new to me. Another guy, never heard of, guy named Ryan Hamilton. In fact, I watched that just this morning. It's my day off, people. But it's called Happy Face. And he's a pretty clean comedian. Maybe it was his mannerisms or his face, but he sort of reminded me of Seinfeld in ways. I was never a big Seinfeld stand-up fan, but Hamilton was good. I mean, he spends a good 10-plus minutes talking about being from Idaho, and then, how that is compared to New York, and so on and so forth. But, which is fine. It's like, hey, I'm the fat guy, I'm going to tell some fat guy jokes. But he doesn't let it become his crutch. Like, that's not his whole thing. So, which is good. And he gets into other things, day-to-day sort of stuff. He gets some personal things, but a lot of observational stuff. And, he pitches the observational stuff as personal things in a way. So it's really well done, and it's good. And it's entertaining. I liked it a lot. So I will say go check these out. And, I don't want to give too much when it comes to stand-up as far as, the material. So, that's for you to find and discover on your own. And you can ruin jokes. So I don't want to do that. But by all means, number one, if you're scrolling through all the comedy specials on Netflix, just make sure you watch Oh Hello. You have to watch that. That's number one. Joe Mandy's award-winning comedy special, really good. And Ryan Hamilton, Happy Face, really good. I will recommend all these to you. Enjoy them. And Too Much Tuna. God damn it. I'm going to be saying that the rest of my life. I can just, because you know what? I can look at Frank and I can say it and he loses his shit. And vice versa. Like, it's great. It's great. I fucking love it. So, go check that out. Now, Cinema Head Cheese has been for a long time, as well as all of Abnormal Entertainment. They started with Masterpiece Theater and then, covers the whole network now. Movie Pass. Movie Pass is now $10 a month. It was $30. It is now $10. This is a Netflix company, by the way. They, for $10 a month, allow you to go see one movie a day in the theater. One a day. What does a movie cost now? An adult ticket, $10. I go to the matinee, it's fucking $8. So, you don't save much doing even that. $10 a month. You can go every day. If you go to one movie a month, you're spending $10 on just yourself. I go probably one a month with the kid. And I can get her a movie pass, and yeah, it's like $6.50 for a kid or $7 for a kid. But I go to 2 movies, and we're set. We're set. You get your money back easily. But even whatever, just for you, for the adult, you can go every single week. Every single week to a movie if you want. You can go every single day. It doesn't matter. And they've expanded the theaters they're in. It's much less for much more now. And if you click through the banners at abnormalentertainment.com, cinemaheadcheese.com, any of the Abnormal sites, we get a kickback on that, which is great because it helps us pay for this and make this happen. So please do that. Click through the Movie Pass banner and support Cinema Head Cheese and Abnormal Entertainment. We really appreciate it. I mean, listening is great. And make sure when you listen, you go to iTunes and Stitcher and all that and give ratings. That helps us too. Even if you don't listen through iTunes. Jump on it. I refuse to call it Apple Podcasts. Go fuck yourself. You've added 2 syllables to something. This is old George Carlin material right now. But you've added 2 syllables to something to make it sound like it's different from the thing it was. And it's not. It's the same fucking thing. I'm calling it iTunes. Fuck you, Apple. Kiss my ass. Go there and rate the show. Share it. Do that. All that stuff helps us grow and helps us make more of this. And if we get to a point where we could do this more consistently, that'd be great. That'd be helpful to us. So, and you get more content. That's important too. So please do all of that. And thank you for tuning in. I always appreciate it. We all do. CinemaHeadCheese.com. You have, Peggy and Greg and Jeff and all of our writers and contributors just working hard, as we can to get you new content. So thank you for checking all of that out. And all of the shows at abnormalentertainment.com. We have a brand new one to us called Anywhere But Here. They're almost 200 episodes in. I think we're getting, we got 199 was their first one with us, so why not jump in around 200? But two great guys from England, Ant and Tom, and we're excited to have them on, so check that out as well. And they talk a lot of pop culture, so you will enjoy that show if you enjoy this, as well as Masterpiece Theater, another pop culture-related show. And that's all I have for you this week, so thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Subscribe and download back episodes of Cinema Head Cheese the podcast, and read all of our movie reviews and news at cinemaheadcheese.com. Email us at cinemaheadcheese@yahoo.com. Search Cinema Head Cheese on Facebook and tweet us at CINHeadCheese. And for more podcasts, books, comics, blogs, and videos, head to abnormalentertainment.com.
You've been listening to the Abnormal Entertainment Network.